Yo, what's good, people? So it's war number 10 of the season, and we are up against some Latin American alliance. I think LÆPS is their tag. So yeah, we are into the final sprint of the season. It's the last three wars as we try to push for Masters, and yeah. First things first, I'll just say stay to the end of this one, or at least if you're maybe looking at only parts of this, do watch the very end of this video. There's going to be a very, very important lesson to be taken from it. So yeah, just keep tuned for that. But otherwise, this is a 6-fight war for me, I believe. It was originally only, I think, supposed to be a 4-fight war, but 2 fights kind of right as I was preparing to go for bed just lined up in a way that ended up just having me take them, and yeah, we'll get to those when we get to them. Here you see I'm starting with America Chavez on path 4A. Here we've got to be careful in this one. I think the main things to watch out for are the fact that my buffs get expiring or getting nullified. Expiring essentially are going to potentially be feeding her MD. And obviously, as you can see, that she's already thrown one heavy and got herself into that dimension, which means those special tools will be unblockable unless I can trigger another dimension of hers or this one expires. So it's just something to watch out for in this fight. But yeah, thanks to the Furies we're getting from the 4A node, we can nuke it down fast enough. You'll notice as well, I only went for the Cleanse Wushus. The reason being I wanted to knock her down frequently because I wanted to refresh those, I think, crit buffs they are on me. I didn't want to let them expire because that would have, obviously 3-4 of those being up at the same time expiring gives her a lot of MD. So that was the thought process there from just what I experienced during duels. That was kind of what felt right to me. I knew with the massive fury I was going to get from shrugging debuffs off constantly meant that, yeah, I didn't need to worry about building too many Wushus up and, getting those chi charges up. I was going to get the damage regardless, so it worked out nice smoothly. Obviously I lost a bit of unnecessary health, which is annoying, but we get off to a clean start, and boy is it needed. The last war, like I say, my worst war of the season. It was awful. Confidence not quite there at the moment, for sure, after that one, and just I think generally a few frustrating deaths this season. I've also had some really good wars and some really clean kills, including some tough fights, so obviously I'm trying not to overthink it, but yeah, we get off to a good start. We've now been given 2 extra fights that we weren't originally assigned last minute, so it's one of those things where you quickly do some duels, you try and make sure you've got your technique right. But at the end of the day, they're 2 fights that I'm going to be taking with Warlock. You see there's this blade here, and then also the Storm Pyramid X, and they should be straightforward. They're both conduit. Obviously it's just get your willpower, get your infection up, and yeah, then just knock them down repeatedly with heavies, special 2s. So I actually forgot to throw a power start on this one, but thankfully it's going pretty smoothly. He's got power focus too, which is the main thing to be wary of, or I think he does at least. Yes, I just double checked, he does have power focus too indeed. And the other node that was you would have noticed with the root effects coming on me was Scared Stiff. Just means if every 6 seconds, if you haven't hit him, he will root you for 4 seconds. So aim there is obviously try to keep getting those hits in, which is why at the start, while I was building infection, I wasn't just parrying. I was also doing like that one light attack or so just to try and keep that node down. But we were off to a good start. We remember to tech power boost on just to be safe, get these fights down as quick as possible and avoid the chances of things going wrong. There you see now I do remember to get my attack power boost on, which is lovely. Would have liked it for both fights, but as you saw in the last one, thankfully it went all right. So the Storm Pyramid X, again, it's a similar thing, just get infection up and try to manage her power. So I think this one has the one where as well, if she gets 3 or more prowess buffs, she's going to have unblockable specials. So I really do not want her getting to 2 bars because, yeah, like, I don't know if anyone can dex that one. There probably are people who can, but I'm certainly not one of those. So I don't know if it is possible to full dex. So yeah, naturally you don't want to push her to 2 bars there. But thanks to her being conduit as well, obviously you just get into the cycle where she's constantly power draining. But there is also power snack here, so every time when that timer refreshes, if I have a buff, it's getting eaten and she's going to get a big chunk of power. So you see I am having to really be on point with my special 1 dexes. But other than that, it's pretty comfortable for Warlock. There I just throw the special 2 so quickly. You get power stings on you every time you get power. So that was just something here. The power stings, though, I was told before this fight, thankfully, they don't do very much damage. I think in that case that was actually just me forgetting and throwing the special too quickly. But yeah, as you can see, it doesn't do a lot of damage there, so you are generally okay if you need to just get that special off to do so. Obviously, if you saw my last war video, I had a very rough experience with some power stings, but those were spider hams and they do a lot more damage. So anyway, forget last war, it's gone. Right, we are 3 fights in, 3 solos, it's going well so far. Now, I'm about to go to sleep, but I've just, thankfully, my body Rob has moved up and I had 1 more energy, which was just enough to get me to this Professor X. I mean, I can take another fight. It's pretty rare for me to be able to get 4 fights done before going to sleep because, yeah, I am UK time zone. We've got a lot of Americans, so, yeah, once planning's done and then, yeah, people start moving, usually it's quite late for me and if I've got tier 1 fights, basically I'll do those. Otherwise, I'm pretty much going to bed and usually starting war in the morning, especially if I don't have shared fights that are tier 1 shared. So we in quite a rare situation here, but this worked out quite nice because being able to take this one, this is a pretty straightforward fight for Warlock. There shouldn't be anything difficult here, but it's just nice that I can take it while I've still got the tech power boost on. Just makes it safer, faster, so naturally, why not? But yeah, this is path 4B, so obviously if he gets 3 or more debuffs on me, he goes unblockable, but he can't get 3 debuffs on me because only once he can get up from the node, where if he throws a special I'll get an armor break and a heal block, but that's it. So yeah, he won't go unblockable. It's pretty much just a standard Warlock versus Professor X fight, and we get the special 2 punish off his as he starts to heavy, and then again, yeah, just intercept with the special 2 finish. Very quick, comfortable fight there, and yeah, we get the 4th soul of the war. So next up, I take Knull here on 4B, and then I'm going to be finishing with my 6th and final fight against a Void Hazard Shift mini-boss. These I'm coming to take in the morning. Everything else is down by this point. The war is quite tight. I think at this point we only have an advantage if they've died twice more than us. So yeah, pressure's on to not give up silly deaths. And if you watched the last war video, I did die to this one, but this is one I have taken so many times, and I'd say pretty much always smash. But this kind of fight with Shang Chi especially is a nuke matchup. It's high risk, high reward. So if it goes wrong, it can go horribly wrong. And yeah, going into this, it's the same as always pretty much. I'm going to chuck on invulnerability just to be safe, because he's going to be unblockable pretty much all fight, so naturally at some point there's a chance you get clipped. Yeah, this is a rank 4 Sig 200 again. I've been facing a lot of these rank 4s now, but we start off pretty well here, and then that happens. Yeah, he's just being really aggressive at the moment, not quite getting the opportunity. So I go in for my stun Wushu. Ideally I want to do this into his block to start the fight, because then I can do the cleanse and he won't even be at a bar of power, because we don't want him throwing the special 1. But thankfully there, we managed to get him to the special 2, and we get the dex of his special 2. Everything's going fine, right? Yeah, definitely felt like a very bloody Daredevil end of season 3 kind of fight there. It became very scrappy at the end. Yeah, I would have been so mad if I threw that one away after starting it quite well. But yeah, like I say, high risk, high reward fight, and very nearly saw more of the high risk at the end there. Got a bit cornered, and then yeah, that special 2 got the dex, and then the last dex, I don't know why, I literally just didn't move. then as a result panicked and threw the special 1 at his block, and very, very lucky not to get punished. And yeah, we get out of that with 5 out of 5 solos, and we now go into this last fight. So it's Void on Hazard Shift. We've got Cap Infinity War, we've got a skill champ on the team, which means, you know, we can shrug off debuffs. We go for loads of reparries in this fight, just because even though he's stun immune, we're getting those parries in will mean we can keep our kinetic charges up. But as you can see here, I didn't get my first heavy counter right, and that's something I try to duel for a lot, but I've just got to be honest, it's something I wasn't completely comfortable with despite trying many duels and getting to a pretty highly successful rate of it. But I'm in the corner, and in this fight, being in the corner is just, it's very difficult, especially for an extended spell, because you see I can't really do the heavy counters in the corner, and that means I've got to do some combos. And if I'm doing combos, if those debuffs are triggering on me a lot, they're getting rid of my kinetic charges, and when those are low, I can't really hit into him because then those debuffs come on me, and obviously if Void gets debuffs on you, you're going to start melting away. So we get our special 3 off, and at this point, when like, okay, we've taken a bit of a beating, but like you can recover the fight from here. So I'm parrying, trying to get him to throw a heavy, which he wasn't. Finally he does. I get the heavy counter right this time. Does it again. Yep, 2 dash back. Going okay, right? Again. But I am still noticing I'm getting more and more backed up. And here, I missed my opportunity, right? His special 1 is one you can dash in on. That's something I really practiced to make sure I was doing a dash in and then just parry the final hit, because it just helps with spacing. I just didn't react quick enough to do it, and then I was like, well, now if I run in, I'm going to get hit. So yeah, it's caused me to get backed towards the corner again. And again, I'm just, you know, trying to keep my charges up to get these hits in, but I'm very much backed up. And yeah, at this point, it's starting to slip away from me. Get a special 3 off, unfortunately don't get the damage bonus, but alright, here we go again. A little bit of kind of a reset in the fight, right? We go again, but like, it feels like this has been 3 separate fights almost, and we're like, here we go, fight number 3. We can go again, but we've got a debuff on me here as well. It's just taking away at my health. He's now got 2 bars of power, which is kind of annoying because, again, spacing wise, it's pushing me back. Okay, I've got 5 kinetic charges, but he's pretty insistent on just pounding to my block rather than throwing the heavy. And then he finally does, and as you can see there, loads of the charges just disappearing very quickly because we've got no choice but to kind of combo into him here. And we can't even just kind of combo back off and then kind of intercept, because we need to be blocking in between. We need to get the charges up, and yep, he gets a heavy on me in the corner as I'm at this point sweating quite a bit in this fight, and unfortunately an attack bonus is dropped. So we revive, we go again. Frustrating for sure, but at least this time round I look at this as like, you know, it was a tough fight. It was one, I don't know, I gave it a good attempt in duels. It's one I can be a little easier on myself on, and it's frustrating, but it's just one of those ones where sometimes, right, maybe this just wasn't one for me that I was gonna have completely down yet. I've got obviously a lines full of smart people who I'm sure in future can maybe, if I have to take this one again, can help me figure out what was wrong this fight and how I can do it better. But yeah, unfortunately there just wasn't a better option this war, and it was one I just had to go for. We go back in though, and as you can see, right back to the corner, and I'm in my head like I said, remember, they'd only died 2 times more than us going into my final 2 war fights. That's now down to 1, and I'm at this point going, right, if I die here, it's going to level things up. So I should be pretty calm with the amount of health left, but naturally with the pressure on, this is a lot more difficult than it should be. There, I remember to get the dash in to try and help with spacing, but you know, he's going straight the corner, and now I'm doing something I could have probably done a bit more in the first time round. Just hit his block. If he gets even slightly defensive, just hit his block, get him backed up, because obviously hazard shift debuffs aren't going to apply to me in that case. Here I'm just waiting for him to kind of start his heavy, so I wanted to trigger my fury. I was hoping to kind of start my heavy and cancel it immediately with a special 3, but I get clipped first. I thought I had enough time to get in. But regardless, the special 3 kills him, and we're okay despite the loss of health at the end. And in the end, we take the win in the war too. Most important thing, we held out on our end. I think we did maybe have 1 more death after mine. And then on their end, I think they had a couple. So fortunately, we take the win. We win this war. I think this makes a 7-3 for the season. Yeah, this is 10th war, isn't it? It's a 7-3 for the season. 2 more wars to go, and I think at least 1 win is needed. Well, so I know what at least 1 win is needed to put us in with a shot for Masters. But yeah, hopefully we can win both, and that should almost definitely seal Masters. So yeah, that's the ideal outcome, and well, we'll see how it goes. But until then, take care and enjoy this very, very handy piece of advice coming up.
The more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. And also, if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out. So I hope this lesson is helpful. Thank you.